Hey everybody, welcome to Project C.A.R.S. This is the third crash testing video. I like to do an update every few months after so many builds. The first video we did was actually about a year ago at build 510. The second was at build 700 back in April, I believe it was. And today we're at build 783. Now, not too much has changed. We did see a huge change from the first video to the second, but I think the main area of focus for the development team has kind of shifted to other areas, and you also have to consider that this game is not done yet. But I wanted to give you guys an update anyway because this game is kind of in closed testing, so it's nice to show you guys what's going on. I'm going to go about it a bit differently. Instead of testing out the durability of all the car parts on a single car, I'm just going to crash multiple cars in this video, all from different classes. So I'd like to start off with the McLaren because it was the same car from the last crash testing video. This way you get a fair comparison, so let's get straight into it. Okay, so because we were at such high speeds, we see damage around the entire car. The hood is dented in, not as much as I would like, but that's just kind of how it is. There's cracked glass along with scratches and dents all along the car, and even the back was slightly affected. You can see the bumper starting to come apart. And I think the game just looks a lot better this time around from the last car crash testing video. Not really the crash physics, but just the overall engine itself. And that's really it for that. So next we're going to move on to the Mercedes 300 SEL. It's a great looking car, very detailed on both ends, so this should be a fun one to crash. Alright, so the car was going a bit slower, so the back is totally fine. There's major dents in the front along with the cracked glass. And even some dents on the sides of the doors. If you look closer, you can see it's kind of dented in. Now, I pretty much noticed that there is a similar effect for all the front end crashes. In the second attempt, the hood also curled up, but the focus was more towards one side, and the glass did not crack the second time. Alright, so now we're checking out a road car, the Caterham R500, a much smaller and lighter car, obviously, with its wheels giving it a whole lot more protection. So the piece on the front came off. There's no dents near the grille. It seems that the only parts that actually dent are the metal on the car. You can see small dents on top where the lighting is. You can see how the light hits it. Very small dents. I think that we're starting to notice that the front end of cars will only dent up to the front wheels. And with this car, there's really not much room in between that spot, so hence the lack of major dents going inward towards the front of the car. And that's really it for that. So next we have the prototype car, the Caterham SP300R. This one is going to get the Le Mans treatment, and we should be able to gain a lot of speed with this one. Okay, I have to admit, I'm not as impressed with this one. We hit speeds of over 160 miles per hour, and there's just a small amount of dents in the front. I mean, you have cracked headlights and dents and scratches up the side, but really nothing that major for the speeds we were going. But you have to realize this company is working on different cars all the time, so they may not have put in the time with this class of car just yet. and I guess we'll see in the future if it changes. Okay, so next up we have the BMW Z4 GT3. It's an awesome sounding and a great looking car. Okay, so you can see the improvement in crash testing from this car to the last one. We had a big dent in the front along with most of the hood curled up. You have the cracked glass as normal, and the back is perfectly fine since we really didn't hit it at all. And overall, this one just looks a whole lot better. Still not incredibly realistic, nothing like BeamNG Drive, but looks a lot better. Alright, so now we only have 3 more cars left, folks. Next is the Ford Sierra RS500. It has the look and feel of a rally car, and it is fairly small. Now let's crash it. Okay, so I think this concludes the theory that all the major front dents stopped right before the front wheels. This car really didn't have the greatest look to its crash, which leads me to believe they haven't put a huge focus on it just yet. But yeah, the normal cracked glass along with the scratches up the side. Okay, so my goal for this next car is to literally just destroy it. This is the Formula A, and we have brought it to an oval track, so here we go. Okay, so I guess you get to see how the flips work in this game now. We have a ton of debris that is spread all over the track. A lot of major pieces came off, including the front bumper and the spoiler, and it's basically lying all over the track. And surprisingly, we actually see no dents on the front end after the bumper came off. It looks perfectly fine, strangely enough, but the rest of the car is still tore up. And lastly, we have the Gumpert Apollo S. This is the car from the first crash testing video about a year ago, so you can check that out if you want to see the difference. And we're at one of my favorite tracks, Azure Circuit. Alright, so I may have accidentally crashed the back, so let me just get the rest of that here for you guys. Now, we were going pretty slow, so the sides are fine, but the front and the rear bumper are both dented in. This one looks a bit more realistic for the speeds that we were going, and that's really all there is to it. I know this game is no BeamNG Drive when it comes to crash physics, but it's constantly improving. There's speculation that the devs are not allowed to make great crashes because the car companies won't allow it. I have no proof to that, so I can't say. What I do know is that Slightly Mad Studios works their ass off to bring new car brands on board, and I doubt the last thing they want to see is their car wrecked. And you have to remember that this is a racing sim, so crashing is really not the top priority. And I know that this development team is very honorable because they've been working over the past few years and always putting out updates, so you know that they mean well, okay? And I'll be sure to update you guys soon on other aspects of the game. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. As always, have a fantastic day.